No. So first, a little background on myself. I graduated in 2007. I actually majored in art here, studied photography, and I loved it. But somewhere along the line, decided I didn't want to pursue it as a career. And so I was always interested in medicine, but I wasn't great in high school, and I was always told to stay away from the woods because you do bad in their classes, and it's really hard. So for fun, junior year, I took some biology and some physics classes, and I did well, and it was easy, and so I said, maybe I should look into this. And then I took an EMT class that following summer, and loved it, and then shadowed some doctors and loved that too. And so I fell in love with medicine. The problem is I was a senior, and to get on the medicine track, you're supposed to get on like a freshman, get all your courses in and all that jazz. And so I had finished most of my lab sciences. I took 4 lab sciences second semester senior year. And then I took organic chemistry over the summer, a whole year's worth in 7 weeks. Applied in September of 2007, and also then I took the MCAT and applied and had the year to kind of say what I want to do. Because interviews aren't until January or whatever, and a year to do whatever I wanted to. But at the same time, I needed to be productive and I wanted to do something fun. And so I wanted to go somewhere cheap because I didn't have a lot of money, and I also wanted to live somewhere different. So I moved to Quito, Ecuador with a friend and found a school down there called El Centro de Muchacho Trabajador, which for those of you who don't speak Spanish means the Center for the Working Boy. And I taught English, Spanish actually, and math to kids between 8 and 12, and also studied Spanish in the morning because I didn't know a word of Spanish when I went down there. And I did this till the middle of the spring, and then I saved some money. I backpacked from Lima back up to Texas and hitchhiked and rode some buses. And then I took a break on back. So, and interviewed. Unfortunately, I got into school and started in 2008, I believe that was. And so 4 points I just want to make about your time and about my experience, and I think are important, as you stand on this precipice from, like what Catherine said, having, everything in your life at this point has been scripted out, and all of a sudden, oh no, I gotta make a decision. And it's really terrifying. So the first is your social life. At Sewanee, you're kind of inundated with people and friends, activities, and parties. All you do is go to Bishop's Commons or go to the cafeteria to see where the party is on the weekend. And so you don't really have to make any decisions when you do, but not really. And so you sit there and it just comes at you. And when you graduate, it kind of tapers down a little bit. You don't have that constant, party or constant friends being around or constant dorm life. You're kind of on your own, and it can get lonely. Unless you stay in Sewanee for another year, which some people do. And so when you graduate, I would say you have to be more active, entertaining your friends and your connections, and something that Sewanee doesn't necessarily prepare you for. And so I would just encourage you to stick your head out there, make friends, make contacts, and join groups, get involved in charity organizations like Habitat or Rotaract or St. Jude's. There's a young professionals thing that have get-togethers. And so find people with comparable passions of your own and use these groups to find people outside of your bubble, to build connections and to meet friends. The second point, I want to encourage you to not be afraid to explore new things. Sewanee is a place of tradition, and sometimes it can be a little reticent to change. But change can be a good thing. So just because a job is halfway across the country doesn't mean that you can't do it. Doesn't mean just because it's not the Southeast doesn't mean that you couldn't take a job in California. You don't have to have 30, 20 friends in every city you go to. Even though it'd be nice, like DC. When I first moved to Quito, I didn't speak a word of Spanish other than what I knew from like the menu of Picasso. And it's not a lot. And in a city of 2 million people, I didn't know a single person other than the person I traveled down there with. But I got out there and met people, and I'm still here and we're still here. So don't be afraid to stick your head out there and meet people. The third point is don't feel like whatever industry you go into is going to be what you're going to do for the rest of your life. I mean, maybe that was the case 60 years ago, but it's changed, as Catherine pointed out. I sensed, when I was in your shoes, junior and senior, that like all of a sudden I had to choose something that was going to be my passion, my vocation for the rest of my life. But it's, you know, I ended up finding something that was, but it's fortuitous that it had to be that way. So don't feel like you have to choose the most lucrative industry either, or one that other people are doing. You know, simply explore what interests you. And if you love it and have a passion for it, you can be successful in anything. And when you do something that's interesting, it feels less like work. The fourth and final point is that you need to set goals for yourself. You need to convince yourself that you can and will do it. When I first finished school, I had class all summer that ended towards the end of August, leaving me 12 days to study for the MCAT. The test you take after you get to medical school is what I was talking about. And, you know, I didn't think I could do it. My dad said to me that, you know, he said, go ahead and tell yourself you're going to do it, try to do it, and chances are it'll happen. You know, but if you doubt yourself in the beginning, can I get 2 more seconds? All right, real quick. But so if you doubt yourself in the beginning, you know, then it will never happen from the beginning. So go ahead and tell yourself you're going to do it. You know, whether it takes applying for 15 jobs in 1 week, or whether you tell yourself you're going to write all your contacts that you met here today by the next 3 days. You know, just tell yourself you're going to do it, convince yourself you're going to do it, and you will do it. But if you doubt yourself, it'll never happen. And, you know, quit saying, oh, well, I'll do that when I have some free time. Because I do that, you know, and it's horrible. Then just to finish up, I want to say that I remember when I thought about leaving Sewanee, I thought it was the end, you know, the end of fun, the end of good times, the end of life. And I knew that wasn't the case now. Or I know it's not the case now. We still all remain somewhat nostalgic, and that's a good thing. But, you know, life stays fun, life goes on, and you'll have a good time. So thanks a lot.